Yeah! It's squabbling out there now. Yeah!
Well, I'm about to start the show, so I'll call you when I'm done.
All right, man.
All right. What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal? Welcome back to the First Hit, First Down podcast. I know I'm supposed to be here in the morning, but your boy overslept. I'm not even gonna lie. But we got some shit to get into today. We had some dope football games this past Sunday in week 5. Honestly, you know, I'm excited about how the Dallas Cowboys defense performed in that game against the New York Jets. And we're gonna get right into that with today's agenda. You feel me?
Today's agenda.
You see, there's only 3 topics today. There's a lot of stuff that I wasn't able to get to in preparation for today. Some of the graphics is going to look a little bit different today. But other than that, guys, it's going to be the same type of show, and we're going to have a good time for real. My thoughts and reactions on the Cowboys and Eagles game, the Cowboys and Jets game, as you guys can see. Why is the Eagles motherfucking passing game having these type of problems? You feel me? That's like that's one of the real things that's on tap for today. And then we're going to be looking at the goddamn Monday night game, and we're going to preview this shit. But let's get right into this goddamn Cowboys and Jets game and shit. As you guys can see, Cowboys won 40. Ooh, that was the wrong score. My bad. They won 37-22. I don't know why I put 40 and shit. Maybe because we probably should have scored 40. But they won 37-22. Dak Prescott looked amazing with 4 of his 5 offensive linemen out. I don't think y'all guys understand when I say that. 4 of your 5 top offensive linemen is out, and you still don't get sacked. He got hit a couple times. They gave up some quarterback hits, a couple pressures, but he didn't get sacked one time. I mean, partially it's because he was maneuvering in that pocket. He was getting up out of there. He was using his legs and running. And this is the most we've seen Dak running since like his rookie season for real. But them guys that stepped in for our 4 down linemen that's missing did a tremendous job. Javonte Williams was this close of becoming our player of the week. I just couldn't find a goddamn picture of him with Cowboys uniform on. Every picture I found, he had goddamn Broncos uniform on and shit. But he balled out 134 yards on 16 attempts with 2 tutties, 1 through the air and 1 on the ground. He broke away like a 63-yard run, and he just couldn't finish it at the goal line. That I ain't gonna front. That kind of made me upset. Like that kind of made me upset of watching him break that long ass run and not able to go ahead and finish that shit. I think we end up throwing that particular touchdown to Ferg. Jake Ferguson had 2 touchdowns today. It's great to see him back in the swing of things. One of the touchdowns was actually him getting some yards on a little screen pass, and he was able to go there. Great blocking by the offensive lineman. I keep trying to tell you guys, offensive line did a motherfucking thing. Hold on. I'm just making sure everything was looking right on our end. But offensive line looked amazing yesterday. Dak looked really good. Defense. Let's get over here to Matt Eberflus and this motherfucking defense. The first drive of the game for the Jets, defense allowed them to go down the field and score a field goal. And then after that, they kind of locked in for like the next 3 quarters. They locked in for like the next 3 quarters. They ended up having 5 sacks, I think 2 takeaways, if not 1 takeaway for a fact. Louis Marifal was able to force that fumble on Breece Hall. And I think that's where kind of the game kind of changed that right there. When Marifal forced that fumble on goddamn Breece Hall, and Dak went down there and scored. George Pickens had a nice 43-yard bomb from Dak over Sauce Gardner. I think he was targeted 3 times, had 2 catches, one of them for a touchdown, of course. What's his name? Ryan Flanoy. Balled the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? I think he had like 6 catches, 114 yards or some shit like that. No tutties, but he proved that he belongs on this team. He was taking the place of Kevontae Turpin, who missed this past game. Dallas had 7 starters out on their offense. 4 of them was on their offensive line. The only starter on the offensive line was Terrence Steele, and he did his damn thing in that goddamn running game. Look, my issue with Terrence Steele will never be about the running game. It would never be about the running game. I think he's one of the best run blockers in the league. It's his pass pro. His pass protection is what really bothers me a lot of the times with Terrence Steele. He gives up like one big play a game. This game, he didn't do that, and he was able to like stay pretty consistent for real. Like I said, the Dallas defense, I mean, by the end of the game, Justin Fields was able to put together a couple drives to go down there, make the score look a bit more respectable and stuff. But I think by that time, Matt Eberflus just was like, hey, man, let's just play, you know what I'm saying, prevent type of style defense. They wasn't playing prevent defense, but it was that type of style, that type of zone defense. Keep everything in front of you, make them drive the length of the field, no big plays and shit. And I think if Dallas continues that style of defense, we will be in a lot more games, especially with this offense. We will be in a lot more games. We will have a lot more chances to win these games if Dallas is able to keep that defense the way that they are, for real. I think the main issue with how Dallas is, and this was how I keep referring to this shit last year with the Cincinnati Bengals. Had one of the best offenses in the league. Their quarterback was having one of the best years of his career, and the defense let them down by just being a horrible fucking group. I feel like Dallas was on their way of doing that, and we got to take some of this shit with a grain of salt because of the fact that it is the New York Jets, and they do hold the ball the longest in the NFL with the, Justin Fields and all that shit. But with all that being said, Dallas did what they were supposed to have did against a bad team. They didn't do that in week 3 against the goddamn Bears. They got their ass whipped by the Bears. And the Bears is you know what I'm saying, undoubtedly a worse team than the Dallas Cowboys. And shit, team, not just saying one side of the ball, but as a full team and shit. So for them to go out there and handle their business against the Jets, I think this was a main issue, a main thing that Dak wanted to prove. Like, yo, we can't allow us to be struggling or even lose against bad teams. We have to take these dubs when we can get them, because our schedule was pretty damn tough, especially towards the end of the year, going around like Thanksgiving time and shit. So you got to make sure that the games that you're supposed to win, you go out there and you perform and you win. Dak Prescott balled the fuck out.
What?
He balled the fuck out.
What?
MVP front runner.
What?
MVP front runner.
What?
You heard what I said. I ain't gonna say it no more. I ain't gonna. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say it no more. MVP front runner. Rain Dakota Prescott. He's leading the league in passing yards right now. Got one of the highest completion percentages. Leading the league in yards per attempt, if I'm not mistaken, or he's top 5 in yards per attempt. Touchdown, I think he got 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and 2 of those interceptions you could honestly say was not his fault. Bouncing off of people's hands and shit like that. Can't blame him. So Dak Prescott on the road to becoming MVP. The first Dallas Cowboy quarterback to ever be MVP will be Dak Prescott. Y'all hear me, right? Y'all hear me, right? Offense look good. Shout out to Brian Schottenheimer. I think he's doing a great job his first month or so as a head coach. There's some things that he definitely got to work on, but there's some things that I think that work beautifully for this offense. This offense look a lot more physical than it has in the past years, especially in that running game. Running game looks great, looks amazing. Jaden Blue had got some tick yesterday, mainly on special team. He got a couple plays in on offense. One of the plays that he got in on offense, they sent the blitz right to his side, and he picked that shit up beautifully. So shout out to him. Seemed like he's getting the hang of this thing. That was one of the main issues that Shotty was giving out to him. Like, he just wasn't catching on enough or fast enough. So it seemed like he's definitely understanding that shit. And he picked up that blitz, and it was a beautiful ass pickup. I don't even know if we completed the play or not on that play, but I just remember seeing him pick that shit up, and I got excited because it was just dope to see that happen. And I ain't gonna front, man. Dallas Cowboys record is 2-2-1. They damn should they should be 3-2 right now. But hey, you can't. A tie is a tie, whatever. But mark my words, if the defense shows up the way it showed up in this game, I'm not saying that they gotta get 5 sacks every game and shit like that. But if they show up just to not let the big play happen, the big play is what's been killing Dallas so far this season. It's not like these people has been consistently driving down the field. Now, in that Packers game, they drove down the field down there every fucking drive. But it's not like that's happening consistently. There's a lot of big plays that Dallas is giving up, which is why they're giving up touchdowns and shit like that. But if they able to cut out the big plays like they did in this game, and they just, you know, keep these guys, you know, stop them a couple possessions, to stop them a couple times. Your offense, more times than not, is going to score, whether it be 3 or whether it be 7, well, 6. Your offense, more times than not, is going to score the way that these guys is moving, the way Shotty is calling it, and the way that Dak is slinging that thing. No diddy. So we just need our defense to show up like they did this week, next week, and the week after that, and the week after that, you know what I'm saying, for the rest of the season, basically. And I think Dallas will be in a very good position come playoff time. Next week, Dallas is going to be playing the Carolina Panthers. It's another game that Dallas should win, and they should win convincingly. Don't allow another bad team to come and play y'all and give them any hope. You put your foot on their neck from the moment that the ball kick off until it's 0-0s on the clock, for real, man. Shout out to the Dallas Cowboys and how they did this shit.
How about them Cowboys?
Great win for the Dallas Cowboys. Great win for Dakota Prescott in his MVP case. Great win for Brian Schottenheimer. And pretty damn decent win for the defense and Matt Eberflus, for real. One more time before we go on to the next subject.
How about them Cowboys?
Yes. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So then we're going to move on to the next game, which I don't have too much nice shit to say about this motherfucker, right? So the Denver Broncos at the Philadelphia Eagles. And Philadelphia won up early in the first half. I think it was like 17-6. And then they didn't score no more points after that. And this is becoming a trend with the Philadelphia Eagles. Rather it be one score, or rather it be no scores in the second half, they've been having their struggles in the second half. And I also think it's because these teams are adjusting to what they're doing in the first half. They know, they know that you guys want to come out there and run that ball. They know that that's what you want to do first. You know what I'm saying? They know that you want to run the ball to open up play action, to hit some deep passes downfield to y'all, two really good receivers and shit, right? The issue is they're not doing that. They're not running the ball too well in the first half. Even with you guys scoring, you're not running the ball too well in the first half. I know that deep pass down the sideline to Saquon Barkley when he was smashed up on a linebacker, that made a lot of Eagles fans smile. But that can't be your only option when you got Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown outside. Hell, even Dallas Goedert in the middle of the field. Y'all got weapons. I'm not going to 100% blame Jalen Hurts. I've been telling y'all motherfuckers for years, especially my Eagle fans that I talk to. Jalen Hurts cannot read a goddamn defense. He just can't. And that's okay. You could develop him. He won a Super Bowl not knowing how to read a defense. You know what I'm saying? So you could develop that shit. But the thing about it is, when you want him, he threw the ball 38 times this game, 280 yards and 2 touchdowns. When you need him to throw the ball 30 plus times, more times than not, this is the results you're going to get. And it's not 100% because of him. I mean, it's horrible play calling from the offensive coordinator. I feel like they wasn't trying to get a lot of their big play receivers involved. I know that Devontae Smith had a big game. I think he had 114 yards receiving and shit like that on 6 receptions, if not probably more receptions. Might have been 8. Might have been less. Shit, I don't fucking know. But you got to find a way to get AJ involved. You got to find a way to make this offense spread out a little bit more. It seems like it's too many weapons for you guys to be bunched so much and shit. And I don't watch the Eagle games with the same intent that I watch the Cowboy games with. I'm not looking to see what their formations is and why is this and why is that. I'm looking to see if they make mistakes and why they making the mistakes so I can laugh and make fun of this shit. Keeping it a bean. You know what I'm saying? But Jalen Hurts was tasked with the opportunity to win this game yesterday, and he wasn't able to do so. Now, I know a lot of people going to say, oh, the last game, or the last joint and all that shit, when he threw the Hail Mary, we had a chance to catch it, blah, blah. Shouldn't have came down to that. He was winning 17-6. The issue is you can't score in the second half. I think the last 2 games y'all been outscored in the second half 18-0. Not good. That's not cool, bro. At least, no. Y'all been outscored 18-0 in the fourth quarter, not even in the second half. And that's really bad because y'all giving these teams opportunities to come back and stay in these games. Offense got to find a way to do something. Now, I would think that because you have Saquon, because you have Jalen Hurts, when you have these big leads, that y'all would just run the ball, play, keep away, eat up that clock, keep your defense fresh, so when they come on the field, they could pass rush. But then you go out there, and in my opinion, you guys are trying to make the plays that y'all should be making in the first half and the second half. You're trying to push the ball deep to your receivers. You're dropping back way more often than you should, when you should be, you know what I'm saying, turning around, handing that ball off, or doing some type of read to where as though your quarterback can make the right play and right decision. I feel like the Eagles' issue, and I was saying this shit for the last 4 weeks, they lost in week 5, so people only going to pay attention to it now. But the issue with the Eagles is their offensive scheme, like their offensive scheme. That's the issue, because they don't know what the fuck they want to be. They don't know if they want to be a team that uses all their outside weapons, or if they want to be a team that is physical and just run the ball at you all the time. They got to figure out which team they want to be, because this is starting to look like a lot like that year that they had before they won the Super Bowl, whereas though they was like 10-3 and they was one of the best, or even 10-1, they was one of the best teams not stat wise, record wise in the league, but they just didn't look good on the field. They was winning games by the skin of their teeth, luck of the draw, you know, like blocking the fucking field goal or a punt 2 weeks in a row. Shit like that don't happen in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? The Eagles defense definitely has been one of the reasons, in my opinion, in these first 4 weeks, been the main reason why they are winning these games. Offense had an offensive explosion in the second half against the Rams, but the defense also only gave up 1 score in that second half too. You know what I'm saying? For allowing the offense to come back. So it's like the defense is out there doing their job. They got a lot of young pieces on their end, but they're doing their job. Offense got to figure out what the fuck their identity is, because I don't think they understand who they are. And I think that's 100% on the offensive coordinator and the coaching staff. That has nothing to do with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts could only, now, I was about to say Jalen Hurts could only execute the plays as called. Of course, you would think that a Super Bowl MVP, a 4 or 5 year, maybe 6 year vet, I don't remember how long Jalen Hurts been in the league, would know how to audible in and out of plays and, you know what I'm saying, read defense pre-snap and post-snap in order to make the proper decision. But he don't. I always said if you blitz Jalen Hurts, he will either roll out to his right to run or roll out to his right to throw a fucking interception. Now, you can play a zone blitz on Jalen Hurts, because the you know what I'm saying, you don't want to blitz and then miss him, and then, you know what I'm saying, he breaks a run. So now they playing zone blitzes on Jalen Hurts, to whereas though you don't know where we going to, you know what I'm saying, we're going to line up 9 men on this motherfucking line of scrimmage. You don't know where the blitz is coming from. Somebody is definitely dropping out of this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10. I think Dallas might have opened that door for a lot of people, for real. But you don't know who's coming or where they're coming from. Jalen Hurts can't identify where the blitz is coming from. And so he drops back and he sits there and he waits for his receivers to get open, rather than throwing with anticipation, knowing where your hot read at, you know what I'm saying, letting that bitch fly, or knowing who or where the blitz is coming from and shifting, or telling, you know what I'm saying, or making the protection go that way. There's a lot of shit like that I don't see Jalen Hurts doing on a consistent level. He might do it from time to time, but I don't think that he does it on a consistent level. And I think that just comes with repetition, that comes with film watching, and that comes from coaching. You have to coach these players, regardless of how much success that they have in this league, they still have to be coached properly. And I feel like they kind of letting Jalen Hurts down by not helping him develop into a better passer and a better quarterback when it comes to the cerebral part of the game. You know what I'm saying? The intangibles, if you will. You know, like, learn how to read a defense properly. If you've seen this look before, you should understand what to do in this look. If the defense is coming down, if you got all, you know what I'm saying, 9 men in the box, 8 men in the box, and you know what I'm saying, you got to run and play, check out of that bitch. Check into something that's a man beater. You know what I'm saying? No diddy. Check into something that's a cover 2 beater. That's what I'm saying, that Jalen Hurts don't do. And I don't know if he can't do it, or if the Eagles is not giving him the leeway to do that. But I think that the Eagles can be in trouble if they don't find out what their offensive identity is. On defense, they know who the fuck they are. What's my boy name? Vic Fangio. He knows who the fuck he is as a defensive coordinator. He knows what he wants this defense to do and how he wants them to execute. That's not the issue. Offensively, Sirianni and his new offensive coordinator need to sit down and need to sit and understand, like, yo, what are we going to be this year going forward? Because we can't just do what we've been doing the first 5 weeks of the season, because we're going to play some really good teams throughout this year, and they're going to take advantage of that shit. The biggest issue with the Eagles, in my opinion, is that second half scoring. Y'all got to figure that shit out, man. Y'all got to figure that shit out. But fuck them. We're going to move on to the next game, which is our Monday night preview. Like I said, there's only 3 topics this week. Couldn't get all the graphics and shit together like the way I like to and normally the way I want to. So we're going to just move on and move through this shit as quickly as possible. No picks of the week this year. Didn't even get a chance. I mean, this week didn't get a chance to put out my picks. No old lineman stat of the week this year. Although I will put that picture out on social media, on IG, Facebook, wherever, X. You know what I'm saying? I will put that picture out for offensive lineman stat of the week, because the Dallas Cowboys second unit of offensive linemen, you know what I'm saying, will be getting that award for only allowing 2 quarterback hits, a couple pressures, and no sacks. Amazing job for those guys for only 1 starter to be on that offensive line. Our player of the week, like I said, I was trying to figure out who was going to be a player of the week. I did not want to get a player of the week to Dak Prescott for another week because it looked like I will be being biased. But going through the at least the offensive side of the ball for who, like how these games went this past Sunday, I don't think anybody played better than Dak. Honestly, I don't think nobody played better than Dak, and I think the only person that might be able to argue is Javonte Williams, who is on the team with Dak Prescott. 16 carries, 134 yards, and 2 tutties, 1 through the air and 1 on the ground. But like I said, I didn't want to give it to Dak again. You guys let me know who y'all think is going to be the player of the week this week. And whoever is the most talked about in the comments, that's who the player I was going to make. I was going to make Baker Mayfield the player of the week also, but I felt like Sam Darnold outplayed him. He just didn't have the ball last, whereas though Baker had the ball last. And Baker has been clutch, so we got to give him his respect and credit for that. But you know what I'm saying, Sam Darnold, you know what I'm saying, 379 yards, 4 tutties in an interception. Both of those guys completed, had less than fucking 5 incompletions at one point. I think the ball hit the ground less than 10 times between the 2 of them. Both of those guys was over 80% completion percentage. So it was a hell of a game to watch offensively. Both of those defenses need to run a motherfucking lap. You hear me? But I don't know. Until then, we're gonna go ahead into our Monday night predictions and who we think gonna win this game and shit, right? So this is it right here. You got I don't know why Jacksonville's symbol was so much smaller than Kansas City. You got KC at Duval County in Jacksonville. I think that we start seeing KC rattle off a couple wins in a row. You know what I'm saying? We start to see the Kansas City that we saw in years past show up now. I don't think that they are as good as they were in year past or even last year and shit, but I do think that they start rattling off a couple wins and shit, because in my opinion, the quarterback and the head coach is just too good to be struggling this long. And I know it's only been like 2 or 3 games. If you want to talk about this season, I know it's been 4 games that they really, let's say 3 games, they haven't looked like the Chiefs that we have grown to know and love or hate in some people aspect and shit like that. But I just feel like you can't hold them back or down too much longer. You feel me? So I think that they're going to make that shit a lot better, especially with Xavier Worthy being back. Like I said last week, Xavier Worthy being back opens up so much for everyone else because of his threat to take off the top of the defense and shit. So it opened up shit for Travis Kelce, it's opened up shit for Hollywood Brown and all the other guys in between and shit. So hopefully they're able to explode offensively the way that they used to. Defense haven't been as good as it was in the past years this year also, and I think that might change also too. So it's all about, especially I think on defense, it's all about getting pressure on the quarterback, making them make quick decisions rather than sitting back and having your DBs chase these receivers regardless of who the team is. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking forward to seeing Travis, what's my boy name? I can't remember his name. I'm going to blank on his name, but you know, number 12 over there on Jacksonville and shit. I'm looking forward to seeing him on both sides of the ball. I really think that he's a better DB than he is a receiver, and they need to just keep him on the defensive side of the ball. I think that it will help them out tremendously. I don't know if this was part of the deal or anything like that. Like, oh, you're gonna come over here, but you know, we're gonna we got to make sure that you play both sides of the ball. Like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Don't draft me if you're not going to allow me to play both sides of the ball. That's the type of vibe that I'm getting. But he's definitely better on the defensive side of the ball than he is on the offense, at least as of right now, 4 weeks into the season, because they haven't played yet. But I'm looking for Travis Hunter. That's his fucking name. But I'm looking forward to see Sunshine, a.k.a. goddamn Trevor Lawrence, go out there and try to compete. Because look, at this point now, do we actually ask the question, is Trevor Lawrence a bust? Is that question on the horizon at anybody else's mind, or are we still blaming the Jaguars as an organization? Because we had seen recently quarterbacks that we thought that was bad, or at least a bust, actually turned out to be pretty damn good quarterbacks when they got into a system that actually cared about helping them develop and be better. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, you know what I'm saying? Those guys and shit like that. So I think that Trevor Lawrence might not be as bad as, at least I believe that he was and shit. And it could be the Jaguars as an organization, staff, record label, and as a motherfucking crew. So, and if it is them, then you got to get the fuck up out of there. And you signed that extension a couple years ago, made you one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. So they're not going to trade you, at least not right now, not when they can't get as much as they've been paying you back type shit. So, and plus, who's going to want to trade for that contract? Other than like the Browns or, you know what I'm saying, the Jets, some other fucking horrible franchise and shit. So you don't want to go from one bad franchise to another. You want to go somewhere where you can actually, you know what I'm saying, be utilized in a proper way, which I don't think that a lot of these young quarterbacks that was struggling early in their career was used in. Trevor Lawrence might be one of those guys, but we'll see. We got Liam Cohen over there. He's another prodigy from the goddamn Sean McVay tree. And Sean McVay is putting out more coaches than anybody in the league right now. Ever since that he, you know what I'm saying, he became the head coach of the Los Angeles Rams, his coaching tree has expanded a lot. Now, how good they are outside of Los Angeles solely depends on them, but he's doing his job by getting them their job and shit. But I got Kansas City in this game. I got Kansas City in this game winning handily. I'm saying about 34 to, let's say 34-21. You know what I'm saying? I got Pat giving you 3 tutties. You know what I'm saying? I got Xavier Worthy getting 1 rushing touchdown on the ground. You know, just throwing shit out there. You guys, you know, so y'all hear me? Y'all want to put that shit in your parlay? Y'all want to put that shit in y'all picks? Make sure y'all get your boy some bread. You hear me? Y'all throw that shit at me. But that was my picks, man, for this week's. For this week, goddamn Monday night game. You guys heard me talk about the Dallas Cowboys and how I believe that they might actually be on to something, especially with the defense getting a little bit healthier. Like I said, this was the goddamn Jets, but we're not going to act like we haven't seen the Cowboys against a bad team in week 3, because we're not going to act like the Bears is not a bad team, right? So we seen them against a bad team and get their ass spanked against the Bears. So it was a good thing to see them not only battle the way they did against Green Bay, which is definitively a better team, and then go ahead and take care of business against the goddamn Jets, as they should have. So I think that next week, when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys versus the Carolina Panthers, hold on, let me do something real quick since we're done talking that shit. When it goes to the Cowboys versus the Carolina Panthers, I think it should be a lot like this past week against the Jets. Whereas though, you handle your business, defense, you do what the fuck you gotta do, don't let nothing up, no big plays up deep. And you guys should win that game handily, and y'all should be going on to the next week, I believe, against the Washington Football Wizards. And that's another divisional game that you guys is going to have to win. You know what I'm saying? Right now, you want to win in division. You win that, you go up 2-1 in division. Not only that you go up 2-1 in division, you jump them in the standings for second in division. You know what I'm saying? Barring both of y'all win y'all games this coming week. But that's in week 6. We're not going to look that far ahead right now. We're focused on the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young. And what's my boy named T-Mac and shit. That's who we focused on right now. You know what I'm saying? But I think that this was a dope little episode, little 30 minutes for you guys. Like I said, a lot of the shit that I would normally give out, our picks of the week, our O-lineman stat of the week, and our player of the week, didn't have time to do a lot of those graphics. As you guys can see, I'm actually a lot later than normal on this goddamn show. But I still wanted to give out some content. I still wanted to talk about my boys. I still wanted to give credit where credit's due when it comes to the MVP frontrunner and Rain Dakota Prescott. I wanted to talk about how I believe that the Eagles' passing offense is not 100% predicated on how bad or how good Jalen Hurts has been playing, but it also has a lot to do with their play calling and scheme. But he's not helping it. You know what I'm saying? You can't throw the ball 38 times for 180. I mean, it's for 280 yards and not win the game. And shit. If you have those type of stats, at least you could say that I won. You know what I'm saying? And that was what they was doing the first couple of weeks. No matter what the stats was, he threw it for 150 yards, 108 yards and shit like that. At least we won. You can't say that this week, so now a lot of people are going to be looking at y'all under a magnifying glass. But the defense looked good out there for the Dallas Cowboys for the first time since week 1. And I'm proud of those boys for going out there and answering the bell. Matt Eberflus, you still got to get some of your shit together. Jack Sanborn should not be our starting linebacker. Goddamn, James came in. I don't know, bro, first name, but number 50 for the Dallas Cowboys. Came in and got 15 tackles in that game, bro. He might not have the experience that Jack Sanborn has, but he damn sure has the tackling ability that Jack Sanborn does not have. Jack Sanborn will read and react like a motherfucker. Like this, bro. If he makes the tackle, he is a hell of a linebacker. He's one of the best linebackers in the league if he makes the tackles, because he's reading these plays. He's, you know what I'm saying, he's getting past and through his blocks. He's going to make the tackle and he just misses the fucking tackle every time, bro. He gotta have the most missed tackles in the league from the linebacker position. Easy. He has to. Somebody please look it up for my boy. But number 50 James came in and ended the game with 15 tackles and did a goddamn thing. Sometimes you just might need that youth in the middle of the field too, man. Need Overshawn back. Need to make sure this back end is healthy. Wanye Thomas, I feel like he's definitely the better option than Malik Hooker. And we need to get Donovan Wilson out of playing deep halves. And I think we'll be good. Offense is looking amazing. Best offense in the league. Best quarterback in the league. Top 5 running back in the league. Top 2 fucking duo with CD and Pickens, and CD missed the last 2 games. You know what I'm saying? So imagine when he gets back healthy. But I ain't gonna talk y'all head off, boy. I'm happy about how my team looked. I'm happy that the Eagles finally caught a fucking L. Shout out to the Broncos. Shout out to Bo Nix. Y'all got beat. In the words of my co-host Jay Will from the Wake and Bake podcast, y'all got beat by a motherfucker with 5 letters in his name. But shout out to him and shout out to everybody that tuned in today. I appreciate you guys. I'm about to get up out of here. Peace and love, and remember, stay fried, my friends. We gone.
Thank you. Come again.
How about them guys?